meet you.
Jak pani nie chce, to nie musi. To może w tamtą stronę, tak.
Ja wziąłem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to welcome all of you to the 45th Annual Polish Heritage Ball in Phoenix. Welcome. Dobry wieczór Państwu. Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie na 45. Balu Dziedzictwa Narodowego Polskiej Gali w Phoenix. Szanowni Państwo, tegoroczny bal kongresu zbiegł się z piękną rocznicą, ponieważ w tym roku obchodzimy 75. rocznicę powstania Kongresu Polonii Amerykańskiej w Ameryce. Szanowni Państwo, serdecznie proszę o powstanie. Rycerze Kolumba za chwilę będą prezentować flagę i za chwilę pani Agnieszka Wiśniewska będzie wykonała hymn amerykański i hymn polski. Serdecznie proszę powstać.
W miejscu. Stój. Do obłożenia flag. Marsz. Flagi wóz.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Dziękuję serdecznie, proszę usiąść. Szanowni Państwo, zapewne wszyscy z Państwa zauważyli, że każdego roku bardzo starannie przygotowujemy nasz prestiżowy bal. I w tym roku także przygotowaliśmy go i celem tego naszego balu jest, abyśmy jak najwięcej zebrali funduszy dla naszej polskiej młodzieży. Szanowni Państwo, serdecznie chciałem powitać i zaprosić tutaj na scenę naszego nowego prezesa, pana Tomka Niemieckiego. Serdecznie go witam i zapraszam tutaj. Przyjmijcie go brawami i serdecznie. Pan Tomek Niemiecki.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mrs. Agnieszka Wiśniewska-Bauer, for the great rendition of the national anthems. Thank you to the Knights of Columbus Honor Guards for the presentation of the flag, and thank you, Mr. Janusz Jachimek, for the great introduction and being the master of ceremony for this evening. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure for me, both personally and as the president of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, to welcome you all this evening to the 45th Annual Polish Heritage Ball, celebrating the 75th anniversary of Polish American Congress. A celebration that provides an occasion to bond our efforts to uphold Polish language, history, culture, and traditions. I would like to extend a special welcome to several of our many distinguished guests. I would like to ask our guests to please stand when their name is called and remain standing. Please hold your applauses until all of our distinguished guests have been introduced. We'll pretend he's here. Father Jacek Wesołowski, pastor of Our Lady of Częstochowa Parish, director of St. John Paul II Polish School, and chaplain of the Arizona Division of the Polish American Congress. With him, we should have Father Zbigniew Kucharski, also Missionary Sisters of Christ the King. We have Sister Bożena Błąd, one of this year's recipients of Polish Heritage Award. Please hold the applauses. Sister Iwona Borońska, Administrator of Our Lady of Częstochowa Parish. Sister Agnieszka Korkiak, Assistant Principal of St. John Paul II Polish School. We have Arizona House of Representatives, Honorable John Kavanaugh. Former Mayor of the... Please hold your applause, please. Former Mayor of Town of Fountain Hills, Honorable Linda Kavanaugh. President of the Polish American Congress and President of Polish National Alliance, Mr. Frank Spula. Vice President of Polish National Alliance, Mr. Marian Grabowski. Honorary Consul of Republic of Poland, Emeritus, former President of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, Honorable Bogumił Nicholas Horsham. Former President and current National Director of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, Mrs. Elizabeth Matej Horsham. Former President of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, Dr. Ewa Grabowski and her husband. President of the Puławski Club of Arizona and former member of the Board of Directors for the Polish American Congress of Arizona, Mrs. Kazimiera Tysiąc. Vice President of the Puławski Club, Mrs. Maria Kisielus. President of the Parish Council of Our Lady of Częstochowa Parish, member of the Board of Directors of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, coordinator of the annual Polish Festival, Mrs. Basia Kolżuch and her husband, chairwoman of the School Council of St. John Paul II Polish School, Mrs. Renata Wiertek and her husband, the Knights of Columbus with Great Knight, Mr. Jerzy Bielawski and his wife, President of Silesia Organization, Mr. Andrzej Reiman and his wife, President of the Polish American Chamber of Commerce in Arizona, Dr. Joanna Szydło-Moore, President of the Polish Scouts in Arizona, former member of the Board of Directors of Polish American Congress of Arizona, Mrs. Jadwiga Marciszewska and her husband, President of the Polish Heritage Women's Association, Mrs. Jolanta Bireło, President of the Fountain Hills Sister City, Mrs. Carol and her husband, President of the Polish American Republican Caucus of Arizona, former member of the Board of Directors of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, Dr. Jolanta Szalon, President of the Polish Culture Events, former Vice President of the Polish American Congress of Arizona, and today's Master of Ceremony, Mr. Janusz Jachimek. Organization Tatry, one of this year's recipients of Polish Heritage Award, is represented by President Mr. Józef Cudzik and his wife, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Staszov, the oldest members of Tatry organization. And last but not least, one of the last remaining survivors of the Warsaw Uprising, Mrs. Anna Pechonka, one of this year's recipients of the Polish Heritage Award. Please welcome them all. This year, the theme of our celebration is the 75th anniversary of the American Congress. It is time to celebrate on many accomplishments that could be attributed to hard work by many men and women of Polish American Congress. On the eve of November 11, we would like to emphasize that the Polish American Congress has rallied for Poland's admissions into visa waiver program since 2003. We have a representation of Mr. Kavanaugh, who started a petition in Arizona House in 2007 that was approved. Now we can probably say we did it. As part of our celebration tonight, we are presenting 3 completely distinctive Polish Heritage Awards. Sister Bożena Błon for her outstanding service and commitment to the Polish community in promoting heritage, tradition, cultures, and education. Mrs. Anna Piechonka for her courage, heroism, and dedication exemplified by her participation in Warsaw Uprising. Organization Tatry for their contribution in promoting Polish heritage, traditions, and cultures. Probably the most significant legacy that the younger generation deserves from professionals like us is the ever-enduring gift of education. This year alone, we provided scholarships to 6 students, helping them in their path of achieving their goals of obtaining college diplomas. Also, 2 children were awarded grants to cover their tuition at St. John Paul II Polish School. Ladies and gentlemen, these activities are incredibly commendable, and we want to build on those and help shape the future leaders of this country. Look around this room. I'm filled with inspiration and hope. So as we celebrate our heritage, we ask for your support and involvement to assure that our language, history, culture, and traditions are respected and carried on for generations to come. I would like to thank our Heritage Ball Organizing Committee, our entire Board of Directors, and all of our members and friends that made this event possible. Thank you for all your hard work, dedication, long hours, and commitment in making this evening memorable. I would like to thank you all for attending this memorable event and wish you a very pleasant and enjoyable evening. Please welcome the Father Jacek Wesołowski and Sister Iwona Borońska and Agnieszka, Father Zbyszek. Please welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are about to have a great time with us. I wanted to ask you for a little more support. I know you're already supporting us by being here, but I need just a tiny little bit more. As you may have noticed, on your tables, I left pledge cards and pens. You can fill out those pledge cards and make an additional donation to the Polish American Congress. This donation helps us build a foundation for the future of our organization and allows us to build a big tradition based on heritage so we can proudly represent the Polish Americans in Arizona. Money raised today will support many charitable efforts of the Polish American community in our wonderful state. It will support Polish folk groups, education, as well as promote Polish cultural events like this one and like our picnic that happens in March. It helps us fund the scholarships that Tomasz talked about and help our youths excel in education and complete higher education. After dinner, we will walk around the room and collect the cards, so please be generous. Do not forget to include your name, your address, so we can properly thank you, as well as your table number on the envelope, so you make the collection a little easier. Each donation will be entered into a drawing for 5 wonderful prizes, and I'm going to list them in no particular order of value. One of them is a fabulous painting, beautifully framed by our local artist, Maria Frys. 2 beautiful gift baskets filled with cosmetics and gift certificates to the Ona Salon. A gift certificate for this wonderful property, inclusive of a breakfast for two. It is a night stay with a breakfast for two, as well as a gift certificate for the resort and spa at the Boulder Salon. Like I said, we thank you for all your donations. Please be generous. All your donations are tax deductible. Thank you.
Szanowni Państwo, z wielką radością chciałem Państwa zaprosić teraz na ucztę duchową, krótki program artystyczny w wykonaniu naszego zespołu pieśni tańca Tatry. Szanowni Państwo, to naprawdę prawdziwy góralski zespół reprezentujący folklor Polski Południowej. To wszystko jest prawdziwe, te piękne kolory, ten folklor prosto spod naszych Tatr. Zespół Tatry jest bardzo znany, lubiany, zapraszany do różnych ośrodków polonijnych i dzisiaj również będzie nominowany do nagrody. Także, drodzy Państwo, serdecznie zapraszam przed Państwem zespół Tatry.
To się przestanie bić, może się spróbować. Będą się ukłasi, to nie marynować.
tutaj na scenę naszego księdza proboszcza, bo za chwilę będziemy spożywać obiad, więc księdza proboszcza prosimy o modlitwę, bo to taka nasza tradycja.
Już zostało mi powiedziane, żebym długo nie mówił, ale słuchajcie, jak wchodziliśmy tutaj na salę, nie wiem, czy mieliście taki przypadek, że samolot się spóźnił, prawda, i czekaliśmy na drugi. I jak się wchodziło na drugi samolot, a wszyscy ludzie tacy źli, że przez jednego człowieka musieli tyle czekać, to taką myślałem, że będzie atmosfera, że jak wejdę tutaj, to wszyscy będą źli i takie, proboszcz się spóźnia. A tutaj widzę wszyscy rozradowani. Ale to dzięki Zbyszkowi, bo ksiądz Zbyszek powiedział, mówi, proboszcz się nie śpiesz, jak będziemy ostatni, wszyscy nas zauważą, że weszliśmy. Także dziękujemy Ci, księdza Zbyszku. Wiem, że jesteście głodni, ja nie chcę mówić, bo nie jestem w kościele i nie będę mówił kazań. Jeżeli mogę was prosić, to proszę powstańmy. W imię Ojca i Syna i Ducha Świętego. Panie Boże, poprosimy Cię bardzo serdecznie o to, abyś szczególnym błogosławieństwem obdarzył Kongres Polonii Amerykańskiej w Arizonie. Dziękujemy Ci, że jesteś z nami i dziękujemy za tyle ludzi tak licznie obecnych w tej sali. Naprawdę to jest już Boże błogosławieństwo dla nas. Także Boże, błogosław prezesowi, całemu zarządowi, wszystkim tutaj obecnym i prosimy Cię, bądź zawsze z nami, aby organizacja Kongresu Polonii Amerykańskiej zawsze się rozszerzała. I również prosimy Cię, pobłogosław te dary, które będziemy spożywać za chwilę i zawsze naucz nas dzielić się z tymi ludźmi, którzy nie mają. Prosimy Cię o to przez Chrystusa Pana naszego. Smacznego życzę.
Can you get the picture together? Powiedz, że pyszne.
To tak ma było przepyszne wszystko.
Okej.
Wszystko
Niebo
cudowne.
gębie.
Niebo gębie. Dlatego.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm privileged to introduce to you our guest of honor and keynote speaker this evening. He flew in this afternoon just to be here with us. Since his election as the president of Polish American Congress in 2005, he has worked tirelessly for overall well-being of America's Polonia. As we continue our 75th anniversary celebration, please join me in welcoming Mr. Frank Spula.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dobry wieczór. I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, for your kind introduction, your kind words. Reverend Father, does everybody hear me? Czy każdy słyszy? Tak, dobrze. Mr. President, Reverend Father, elected officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. You know, sitting here in this audience this evening, I'm trying to think what brings us here tonight. And you know, I would think that it would be the respect for the Polish American community, for one. It's really indeed a pleasure for me as national president to see so many active people in the southwestern part of our country. For one, when I see the Podhalen do the entertainment, I think I'm back in Chicago. The president announced that I came here specifically for this, and it's absolutely correct. And that's because the Polish American Congress has a respect for the people for what they do in Arizona. This is a joint celebration of the Arizona Division for celebrating Heritage Month for the past 45 years. But it's also a combined anniversary of the 75th anniversary of the Polish American Congress. Being in this room and seeing you, ladies and gentlemen, I feel the positive synergy within you. On a personal note, I'm proud to see this happening, specifically with all the younger folks here. And we have a multitude of generations within this room, and it takes a joint effort to reach success within our community. It's an auspicious moment as we mark the 75th anniversary of the Polish American Congress and the 45th anniversary of the Arizona Division. During the +7 decades of existence, there have been many accomplishments that the Congress can take credit for. And the Arizona Division is one of those examples. This is a milestone that you can be proud of. I want to acknowledge the officers for supporting and working together. Because without the officers here, we wouldn't be here today. You know, just looking at this entire event, I know how much work goes into it. It didn't happen overnight. Just to get the color guard in here, just to get this room together, all the volunteerism. So I want to say thank you to them, and they deserve a round of applause for their hard work. Anniversaries like this are a way to remember the founders of this particular division. When you take a look at your book, you see all these presidents that were listed here. Naprawdę oni powinni być uznani za jej ciężką pracę przez tyle lat. Brawo dla nich i brawo, że oni z nami byli przez tyle lat. No organization can succeed without qualified and dedicated people. And this organization is no exception. And you see it by the leadership that you have right now. You have leadership. You see it displayed here by having all the people here in this room. Over the last 75 years, the Polish-American Congress has made a difference in millions of people's lives. The organization reached out to help people in Poland. At the end of the Second World War, the Polish-American Congress founders were joined by new immigrants. Many of them came from Poland to the United States out of the opposition of the Soviet-dictated communism-ruled Poland. Many of these newcomers in the late 40s and 50s were displaced persons, or DPs as they were referred to. But they made a difference in our country. They formed this organization. During these troubled times, the Polish-American community sent out millions of dollars of fund. If it wasn't for key organizations, folks, like the Polish National Alliance, the Polish Roman Catholic Union, the Polish Falcons, there would be no Congress. They put in their money, their time in order to make it happen. To byli, że oni pomyśleli o Polakach w Polsce, że Polska nie była wolna. To jeszcze temu kongres był stworzony i przez to tyle rzeczy się załatwiło przez te 75 lat. I ja podzielę się z wami, co kongres zrobił przez te lata. Ja nie będę dzisiaj cały wieczór mówił, bo my się przyszli pobawić i porozmawiać. Ale kongres bardzo dużo zrobił i jest wdzięczny, że my w tym pokoju dzisiaj bawimy się jako Kongres Polonii Amerykańskiej. Ja trochę po polsku i trochę po angielsku, bo ja wiem, że nie każdy rozumie po polsku, a jest ważne, żeby Amerykanie wiedzieli, co organizacja zrobiła i co my robimy jako Polonia w Stanach Zjednoczonych. As an organization, we need to move forward. We need to focus on current issues facing us. In order to help Poland on an international political arena, Poland needs a strong and organized Polonia here in the United States. And Polonia needs a sovereign Poland as it is. To be strong and influential, to effectively serve the Polish-American community and to assist Poland when needed, we must concentrate and pursue a domestic agenda. Polish Americans have achieved tremendous levels of professional and financial success in America. We can be proud of that. We have many doctors, we have many executives, we have various agencies that are run by Polish Americans. We need to make ourselves more attractive to younger generations, and we see that here this evening. So bravos to the Arizona Division. At the same time, we need to reach out to others and unite the second and third generation of Poles. We need to reach out to other ethnic communities because living in the United States, we have to be all united. When I take a look at some of the people here in this room, I see many people from the Chicagoland area, from Connecticut, and I see they all settle here, which is telling us a signal. Polonia is not only Chicago or the East Coast, it's on the Southwest, and it's happening here in Arizona. In 1944, when Congress was formed to unify and stimulate the persons of Polish ancestry so that Poland would one day be free. And now Poland is free. For much of its history, the Polish-American Congress involved itself and spent millions of dollars and services abroad. Many challenges were addressed toward the attentions of PAC. When Poland sought entrance into NATO, ladies and gentlemen, the Polish-American Congress launched an all-out effort. The movement started, and there was monumental support throughout the country, whether it was Arizona, California, New York, or Illinois. It happened because of people involvement, like you folks sitting at the table. This year marked the 400th anniversary of the first strike or walkout by Polish workers in Jamestown. And what did they look for? They weren't looking for extra money. They were looking for equal rights, for voting rights. Back in 1619 in Jamestown, that's our historical past. This past year just happened. At the beginning of October, what happened? President Trump announced officially that he would grant Poland access to the State Department's visa waiver program, which allows citizens of Poland to travel to the United States for business or tourism purposes up to 90 days without a visa. The Polish-American Congress, folks, laid the groundwork for this. As President Yamiński said earlier, back in 2003, this effort started. W 2003 roku Kongres zaczął tę całą procedurę. They started reaching out to legislators across the country, talking with the congressmen, state representatives, senators, and even sending out letters to the president. President Bush was contacted on this note, President Obama, and President Trump. And I'll tell you an interesting story, because the question was asked, how did this all happen so quickly? What happened? Well, I'll tell you what, it didn't happen quickly. But you know, we have people in this room that were also part of that process. We have State Senator Kavanaugh, who back in 2007 was instrumental. We had Honorary Consul Horsham was involved in this. I salute them for doing this. I salute them for doing this, for helping out and reaching out. And you know how this is done? You do this through friendship, folks. You got to knock on doors. Our legislators need to know us. They need to know the faces. They need to know names. And you know what else they need? They need contributions when it's election time. Election is very, very important in this country. If we don't vote, what happens? We don't count. People look at it. If you're a state rep or a senator, you look at how many people vote for you, and they do check it. They actually check this. And I'm so aware of this because I'm familiar with the political process. And it takes that. Now, coming back, I applaud the officers of Mr. Kavanaugh and Mr. Horsham. But how did this happen? This also happened when Donald Trump was in our offices. Donald Trump visited us right before the election. It was in September, a month before the election. Mr. Trump was walking up the stairs, had a private discussion with him, and he asked specifically, what is important, co jest ważne dla Polski, dla Polaków? And the answer was visa waiver, and the second issue was enforcement or NATO air forces in Poland. That was in a private discussion that took place in Chicago. He walked into the boardroom. There were 25 of us present there, and we discussed various issues. Question came up about visa waiver. He said specifically, if I get elected, I'll take care of this issue. I'll have it done in 15 days. And well, we sort of said back in our chairs, well, 50 days, we've been doing this, trying to get this done for years. And President Bush said one thing. I'll tell you what President Bush said. He says, well, it's a Democratic House, and I'm having really a hard time pushing this through. President Obama said, there's a Republican Senate, and I'm having a hard time. This is not going to go through. Well, realistically, the bottom line was our numbers were too high. Our refusal rate was too high. That's how they base it on. So now, even when this law takes into effect, on November 11th, Veterans Day, this is positive for Poland, it's positive for us. However, with this, you've got to consider the consequences. People that get these visas have to return in the appropriate time. If the government or the State Department says 90 days, they don't mean 91 days. They mean 90 days. 90 days. And that's what we need to comply. And we have to get that message across to our people in Poland. And the State Department is getting that message out to the various consulates across the country. Now, I think this is a great move for us as a Polish-American Congress that this actually happened. It's a tremendous move that President Trump delivered and that the PAC was so darn instrumental in all of this. And that's what I'm thankful for to you, ladies and gentlemen, as well. You know, what we can learn from the past is that in order to do anything, we need to work together. We need to work with legislators. We need to work with other ethnic groups, other religious groups, because we live in a mosaic in this country. I know in our own city of Chicago we have over 156 nationalities, ethnic groups. You've got to work together because nothing is going to get done. Here in our city, we elected a first Afro-American mayor, a female, I should say, who's of a different persuasion. Who's of a different persuasion, and the question was asked. She came to visit us. Polish American Congress has a lot of influence. A lot of influence. Sometimes it's criticized that we don't do enough, etc., etc. But when elected officials or candidates come in, they want to talk to the Polish American Congress. And Ms. Lightfoot, who was elected mayor, came to visit us. She came in out of 14 candidates. She came in. Nobody was supporting her. She came in, and she made a heck of a great impression because she was a reformer. Came in, and the people said, "Hey, we like you, Ms. Lightfoot." And she got elected. That's why it's important to reach out and be friends with everyone. As a group, we need to get involved locally. In your local parish, in your city council, be involved and volunteer your services. We need to, again, work together. In unity, there is always that strength. W jedności jest siła, and we need to remember that. Ourselves, we cannot do it. But together we can accomplish a lot. Today, we're recognizing 3 different groups. We have 3 recipients here today that are getting awards. And you know something? I happen to know one of the recipients, Sister Bożena. Sister Bożena comes from our windy city of Chicago, who you could get blown away on a wintry day. But you know, I know Sister Bożena going back when she was at this parish school called Holy Trinity, which is one of the oldest parishes or Polish churches in the city of Chicago. And you know, she says, you know, Panie Franku, pan się musi poprawić w języku polskim. And you know, she wanted to teach me Polish. And you know, we didn't succeed because I was a little older than, you know, her students were. But nonetheless, Sister Bożena has been a giver. She's been a giver in the community. She gets more than what she gets back. And awards are generally given for what people have done and what have that not received. And you know, is she a happy person? Absolutely. Look at her. She's always smiling. And you know why? Because she's a volunteer. She's a volunteer. She works for God more than anyone else. She works for the community. But more importantly, there's an old saying that Albert Einstein said that the happiest people in the world are those that volunteer their time and give of themselves. And Siostra, you do all that. You give of yourself, and God bless you. I wish we had more Bożenas, our Sister Bożenas in the world. I can't say the same about the other recipients because I really don't know them personally. But, you know, Sister Bożena and Father Jacek, I also know. When I have to share this with you, folks. When Father Jacek or Father Wesołowski was in church, this was in a high school hall when they were collecting monies for a church. And I see this younger guy. He's got a beard back then, long hair, and he looked like Moses, for God's sake. But you know, he's got all these kids around him, and I'm thinking I'm in a Protestant church. You know, because normally in the Protestant churches, they have the kids that have separate schools, separate areas. And here, Father Jacek or Father Wesołowski back then is there talking to him, and I figured, boy, he was like a Messiah. And it was right around Christmas time. And I thought to myself, what a heck of a preacher. He'd make a heck of a salesman. And I guess he's selling the Word of God. So that's my memories of certain folks from the Chicagoland area. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, I'd really like to applaud your work as members of the Arizona Division. And one day, it seems like I'm probably going to be living here in Arizona as well, because everybody's asking, are you moving to Arizona eventually? And I would say, yeah, eventually, yes, because our vice president of our organization actually moved out here, and he's very happy. you can call him during the day, and he says he's in his swimming pool during the day. So that gives us good sign. People live here a lot longer as well. At least that's our anticipation. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for your time here, for this great invitation for me to be here with you today. I hope that we can expand, and I'm certain the future of this division is positive. The next banquet or the next celebration that we have will be doubled in size. But more importantly, I want to thank you. Thank you for your good work, and let's all work together. God bless you all, and have a great evening. And happy Thanksgiving! Happy Smacznego Indyka!
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I would like to welcome to the stage our chairman of our Heritage Ball, Ms. Sylwia Gładkowska, for our Heritage Awards presentation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Niemiecki, for this amazing opportunity to present this year Polish Heritage Award recipients to all of you. It's with honor and pleasure I declare that this year Polish-American Congress in Arizona awarded 3 awards. It has been said that the recipient of the Polish Heritage Award must be demonstrated over a significant period of time dedication to the promotion of Polish culture, language, and tradition. And this person has been doing exactly this for decades. And last 9 years, we have the privilege to discover that firsthand right here in Phoenix. She put her whole heart and soul into Polish community, which she treats like a big family. From 2011 until May of this year, she served as an assistant principal at the St. John Paul II Polish School in Phoenix, where with passion and encouragement, she encouraged children, young adults, to expand their knowledge of Polish language, history, and traditions. She gets along not only with younger generation, but also seniors adore her. She always makes sure that everyone feels welcome and no one is felt alone. She's a great businesswoman, excellent cook. Do you imagine cooking for 15,000 people? She has been doing this for years as a head chef at the Polish Annual Festival. And amazing baker. Have you tried her pączki? There is a waiting list if you want to buy them. There is a Polish saying, do tańca I do różańca, which means to party with and to pray with. But when I asked her why she chose this lifestyle, her answer was, because God chose me to help the neediest Polish immigrants. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present to you the first of this year Polish Heritage Award recipient, Sister Bożena Blond.
Witamy serdecznie i prosimy siostrę tutaj do nas. Proszę Państwa, przyjechała prosto z Reykjaviku, z Europy do nas. To jest nasza droga siostra, cudowny uśmiech. Witamy siostrę i serdecznie gratulujemy. Brawa dla siostry. Ja tylko powiem, że siostra nasza była 9 lat z nami, to wspaniały pedagog, a także i menadżer naszych wspaniałych festiwali, zawsze z nami. Więc gratulujemy i serdecznie dziękujemy.
To wielki zaszczyt tutaj być z Wami dzisiaj. Oczywiście to był wielki zaszczyt być z Wami, pracować, modlić się, cieszyć, płakać, cierpieć przez ostatnie 9 lat. I to wspólne dzieło, które tworzyliśmy nie tylko dla Polonii całej tutaj, ale i na chwałę Boga na tej ziemi, właśnie ma swoje też owoce w tym, że z każdym rokiem przybywa członków Kongresu Polonii, przybywa dzieci w polskiej szkole i moim marzeniem, życzeniem jest, aby tak się działo, aby coraz więcej w tym miejscu, właśnie w tej organizacji Kongresu Polonii we wszystkich organizacjach, które tutaj są na arizońskiej ziemi, wszyscy czuli się bardzo mile witani, żeby wszyscy czuli się na swoim miejscu, każdy miał swoje zadanie do spełnienia i każdy kiedyś otrzymał nagrodę, jeżeli tutaj nie na ziemi, to gdzieś tam w wieczności. Z całego serca dziękuję wszystkim, którzy przez te ostatnie lata współpracowali ze mną, którzy pomagali, którzy wspierali. To jest zaszczyt nie tylko dla mnie, to jest zaszczyt dla naszego zgromadzenia sióstr misjonary Chrystusa Króla, dla wszystkich sióstr, które pracowały, pracują, będą pracować, będą z Wami obecne. Więc z całego serca jeszcze raz dziękuję. No jestem wzruszona i cieszę się, dziękuję za zaproszenie.
I don't think I can find a better word to introduce her than a hero. After she lost both of her parents in World War II, she fled to Warsaw to be with her aunt. In 1944, when the Warsaw Uprising broke out, as a Girl Scout at age of 14, under the nickname of Kitty, she joined the fight against Germans. When a bombshell tore her leg apart, she was left for dead in a front of barricade. After many of unsuccessful attempts, some boys finally dragged her into a safety using grapnels. 43 years ago, she immigrated to the United States with her family. 5 years ago, she lost her beloved husband. Today, she still speaks 9 languages, reads and writes 7 of them, and she published books in different languages with her poems. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up and help me to welcome and honor her, our own hero, Mr. Anna Piechonka.
Wielkie brawa dla Pani Anny. Życzymy Pani dużo zdrowia i serdecznie dziękujemy, że Pani jest z nami. Wszystkiego dobrego.
And last but not least, Third Polish Heritage Award is being presented to a folk group where their culture and traditions live almost 6,000 miles away. But distance isn't a problem for any of them. The members of this group dress, play, dance, and sing the same it has been done in Podhale region in Poland for generations. Every single costume to this day is custom made in Poland, especially made to survive cold winter days. Unfortunately, there isn't Arizona version. But this doesn't hold them back from sharing their wonderful music and performing on a stage in those costumes outside when it's sometimes over 120 Fahrenheit degrees. They are very passionate about their heritage, tradition, and culture. They are being invited to perform live on stage to share Polish culture to American audience in many states across this nation. We are very fortunate, thankful, and proud to have them with us in Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Polish Heritage Award to organization Tatry.
Prosimy zespół. Gratulujemy serdecznie i dziękujemy za wspaniałą pracę dla nas, dla naszej kolonii. Tańczcie, rozśpiewajcie i prosimy tu serdecznie.
Kochany kongresie, jak dobra wieść niesie, dostaniecie medal za to, że mając 14 lat opuściłam dom i rodzinę i poszłam walczyć po ziemi. Przenosiłam ranny i sama byłam też ciężko ranna. Jestem dwóch narodów, ale kocham tylko Polskę. Włochy lubię, ale Polskę kocham. Dziękuję, serca dziękuję. Tyle lat temu, a to było tak, jakby było wczoraj. I dzisiaj Jestem bardzo wzruszona. Płakać nie umiem. Płaczę, kiedy nic nie wiedzieć. Nie potrafię teraz się udzielać. Nie straszny nam niemiecki wrzask, nie czas nam płonących czas. Jedziemy w przód, a z nami nasz lud. Warszawa, Warszawa i Kraków. Te dwa miejsca są w moim sercu. Podniosły mnie na duchu, kiedy już myślałam, że ja już nie będę żyć. Niech żyje Polska, niech żyje Kongres, niech żyją Polacy i mówią po polsku jeszcze.
Dziękujemy serdecznie. Brawa dla pani Ani. Życzymy dużo zdrowia i wszystkiego najlepszego. Dziękujemy.
Hej, górole, góralska muzyka. Całe światło będzie, nie ma takiej nika. Ale my są i Phoenix, i na całym świecie. Jak widzicie, pielęgnujemy tę naszą tradycję, pokazujemy nasz kraj z dobrej strony. Pielęgnujemy i śpiewamy, tańczymy, gramy naszą góralską muzykę. To znaczy, że jesteśmy chyba ambasadorami tutaj. Tak jak Ojciec Święty powiedział, na was, góroli, można liczyć. I tutaj, w tym miejscu chcielibyśmy właśnie podziękować za wyróżnienie kongresowi. Na pewno to doda z nowej siły na następne lata. Także w imieniu całej grupy zespołu Tatry wielkie dzięki dla kongresowi i dla tych, co nas zawsze wspierają.
Dziękujemy bardzo grupie Tatry.
So first and foremost, on behalf of our group Tatry, we would like to welcome everyone to this spectacular, amazing event. It is a great privilege and honor to be able to participate in this 45th annual Polish Heritage Ball. We want to thank the Polish American Congress for the acknowledgement of our efforts and for the continuous support of our group. Your recognition builds motivation in us to continue sharing our unique culture in these parts of the world. This year's celebration will stay in our hearts forever. Thank you so much and God bless.
Jeszcze raz bym chciał podziękować naszej całej grupie zespołu Tatry, bo bez nich tutaj byśmy nie byli. A więc dziękuję całej, ja osobiście grupie Tatry też. Dziękuję bardzo.
Gratulujemy z całego serca całemu zespołowi.
At this time, I would like to invite President Frank Spula and all past presidents of Polish American Congress of Arizona that are present here today, Mrs. Elizabeth Matej Horham, Dr. Ewa Grabowski, and Mr. Nick Horham to join me on the dance floor.
Tak jest, szanowni państwo, 75 lat naszego kongresu i zaraz będziemy celebrować to, gdzie mamy nasz wspaniały tort, już idzie, także prosimy wszystkich dyrektorów tutaj do nas. Wspaniale, brawa, brawa i ja myślę, że toast, więc zaśpiewajmy 100 lat. 100 lat, niech żyje, żyje nam. 100 lat. Kongres na was i nasi dyrektorzy też tutaj. Żyje nam, niech żyje nam. Dziękuję serdecznie i myślę, że dyrektorzy teraz będą kroić tylko te fireworki, nie wiem, czy chyba znowu nasz nowy prezes Tomek Niemiński. Dzień dobrze człowieku, bo przed tobą duża rola. Dzień, że Ewunia pomoże też i nasza Ewunia też. A prezes? No właśnie, coś prezes z Chicago coś zakroi, dobrze? Cieniutko coś prezes kroi, nie wiem dlaczego, tak? A no tak, rzeczywiście, przepraszam bardzo. O, Elżunia taką pojdę jak ona zawsze hojna i szczodra. To prawda, dziękujemy serdecznie za to. Ewunia, moja kochana Ewunia, pani prezes, z nią pracowałem 2 lata, dobrze kroi, bardzo elegancko. No i nasz konsul niech dużą taką ukroi. Tak jest, brawo, świetnie. Pięknie.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your generosity. We have now collected the pledge cards. You have been most generous. We would like to thank you for opening your hearts and your wallets to the Polish American Congress. We are now ready to draw the winners of our beautiful prizes. There is always one last one. And those prizes, I have shuffled those very well, I promise. No one can see. Janusz will help me. We are... And one more.
Jeszcze, dziewczyny zrobiły wspaniałą robotę.
Our first prize is a beautiful painting by Pani Maria Frys, our local artist. It's a painting of the Grand Canyon, and this award goes to, or prize I should say, pick one. Table number 17. Do you see that? Anya. I'll try. Ania Kubik. Angels.
Brawa. Proszę pokazać wspaniałe dzieło pani. Prosimy bardzo. Gratulujemy.
The next prize we have for you is a gift certificate and a gift basket to Ona Salon. And this prize goes to Vivian. Table number 23, Olga Zelek.
Brawo, gratulujemy. Pani Olgo, prosimy Pani Kuligona. Co to Pani wylosowała?
Gift certificate to Ona Salon.
A, to będzie Pani jeszcze piękniejsza.
Here you go, another gift to Ona Salon. Agnieszka Chrostowski, I believe it's table 8.
Pięknie, gratulujemy naszej Pani doktor. Prosimy tutaj Agnieszko Hanie.
Another prize is a night stay with a breakfast for two at this lovely property, the Point Hilton Tapatio. Another prize is a night stay with a breakfast for two at this lovely property, the Point Hilton Tapatio. And that award or prize goes to Robert i Anita Szewczyk. Our last prize is a spa treatment at the Boulders Resort and Spa. And the winner of this particular award is Alicja Orkiszewski. But I do have to thank our wonderful girls, my daughter Maya, her friend Kelsey, and Olivia Szewczyk for all their help with this, the pledge cards and the editing of the pledges. And
Drodzy Państwo, czas poloneza zacząć.
gra dzisiaj zespół Hanny. Witamy wszystkich serdecznie i życzymy przyjemnej zabawy.
Jesteś aniołem, mówię ci, jesteś aniołem.